Welcome to the future home of our new chicken coop. The family has been working hard clearing this old garden plot. So now that this plot is open and ready, we can start building. We're going to be using this space as our chicken coop and run. Eventually we may free range our chickens, but for now we're going to take advantage of this old fence. It's a little rickety, but it should work for chickens. The chicken coop is not going to be very big. I'm going to build it 8 feet by 8 feet. It's going to sit right here in front of these poplars. So we don't have much time to work and I want to get this done. This is a project I've been excited about and thinking about ever since we moved here. We're starting with the foundation, of course. This coop is going to be built for now on two, what are they called? Skids. It's going to be not attached to the ground, no permanent foundation, because I'm not exactly sure if this is the final location for the coop. My goal is to make it kind of only semi-permanent at this point. We can drag it around with the tractor. It's going to be a little large, but we can move it. If I do end up liking it here, I'm going to try to put footings in later and attach it permanently. I'm just cutting off the bottom of these skids, making an angle so they can slide on the ground easy. So you can see the skids, that's all they are. That's the foundation. We're going to be putting it on blocks just to get them leveled. We might have to work the ground out, but we're going to go ahead and build the frame first. Make it easier to level. Alright, we got all of our joists cut to length. We got our end pieces temporary, kind of just in place. Now we're going to screw all of our joists in. Pretty basic, just making an 8 by 8 frame. Up. So we got the frame all done. It's looking good so far. We toe nailed it in to attach it to this. I also did some on the fronts. So they're hooked to the 4x4. And you might notice that these stick out and I didn't finish it. That's for part of this design. This is a very special coop that I'm trying out. So this whole thing will make more sense as we go. We like to just build and show rather than try to explain it. So yeah. Before the subfloor can go on, I'm going to put some 6mm plastic over the framing because I'm not using a treated plywood, I'm using OSB. Don't hate me for that. It's what I want to do. So I'm going to put plastic down, put the OSB on top, and hopefully keep it from rotting. I'm just going to be cutting off the excess. We're not using this. Remember, we didn't put a joist under here. So it'll make sense when we get there, but for now, cutting it off. Now that the floor is down and looking good, it's time to start framing up the walls. I'm going to start with the back wall, front wall, then the sides. Let me get these cut, get them started put together, and I'll show you how it looks. I screwed in the ends, and I put in this temporary bracing. Well, it's not temporary, but it's not necessary. It's just to keep my boards lined up straight. You see, I don't know exactly what pitch my roof is going to be, so I didn't know what angles to cut my boards at. My plan was that if I could get all these straight, centered the way I wanted, I could lay a straight edge across. I know where my peak is, I know where I want my end of my roof to be, and I'll just snap a straight line and cut off the boards at the angles I need. Look how cool. So this will be the back wall. Let's get it sided. We got the siding all screwed down. That went pretty well considering all things. We snapped some chalk lines where the peak is going to go, or where it is. Now we're just going to cut this excess off. One wall done, now for the front wall. That's 2 walls done. You can see the front wall has a big open doorway. That's going to be a kind of an experimental door that I'm going to be trying out. So far, it's looking cool. Now I'm going to build the 2 side walls and hopefully get it all together. I almost bought a nail gun to build this. I've wanted a nail gun for a long time, but it wasn't in the budget, and I said, I'll hold off. Screwing is slow. I like the drill, I like to use screws, but sometimes nails are just more efficient, especially framing. Nails are standard. They have a higher shear strength than screws, but these are rated for structural use, so they're pretty strong. But man, one of these days, I'm gonna get a nailer. That was faster than the rest. One more to do. Alright guys, I'm excited. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Hopefully you've been waiting for. Walls are done. Walls are done all over the place. I'm gonna run in the house, get Ashley, and hopefully we can make a box and you'll see the shape of it and it'll look like it's actually coming together. This project took so much longer than it should have. Delays, distractions, missing tools. That's just how it goes, but we're getting it done. We don't want to put pressure on that thing. There's the coop. It's taking shape. It looks pretty good. It's not a huge coop. This is like a chick brooder beginner's coop. We don't know how many chickens we really want to keep. We don't need a ton of eggs. If we like the design, we could always build a bigger one. So,
or maybe it'll just be perfect for us.
Or yeah, so we'll see. I'm almost done. It's actually, it looks like it needs a lot of work, but it's actually not, because we're going to put metal on the sides and that goes up really fast. And all we need is the roof. So I'm going to keep working for a couple minutes, I think, and just try to get the rafters done. Alright guys, we're back out here on a new day, and unfortunately I didn't get those rafters up last night. I had a change of plans. I got them cut, but I wanted to wait and putting them up because I realized I didn't like the front of this coop. I thought I had a good idea, but I think I have a better idea. Last night I really got thinking about the coop design, and you know, I have a plan, but it's kind of off the cuff. I'm making this up. It's my own custom design, so you can't always get it right the first time. And after seeing the opening, I realized that there's a couple of things that need to be changed in order to make it work for us the way we want. So I'm going to be just moving around the opening, making a better spot for the nesting boxes, and just changing the dimensions a little bit. Let me work on that. I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. Starting to sprinkle, but let me show you the progress. I reframed the front. Now we have a slightly smaller door, 4 foot instead of 6 foot, but we also have a place for 3 nesting boxes, and the front is open still. I think I like this setup a little better. We're just going with the flow, seeing what works and what doesn't. The first rafter is up, and you guys probably think I'm crazy because I always do things a little bit differently. I have my own special way when it comes to building. My rafters are going horizontally instead of this way, and that's because I like them that way. It'll make sense. We're doing metal roofing, and typically, like with metal roofing, your purlins or your furry strips or anything, whatever you call them, they go this way. So people put their rafters up like normal, and then they cross them with wood. Because this building is so tiny, I don't need to crisscross wood. That's just overkill. So I'm just going straight to the punch and putting in my metal roofing nailers. Ashley and I have been working on this, doing our best to get it done today, and it's looking pretty awesome. We just got done adding these side supports. I made a slight miscalculation on my measurements, so it doesn't look perfect, but it's a chicken coop, guys. You live and you learn. This is a learning experience for me. Every build, every project, you guys think I'm some genius, I'm a pro builder. This is like high anxiety moments for me. I'm like stressing out, trying to get it right. I mean, it's a lot of work. So this is all going to be sided up to here. We're going to have an overhang. I love this overhang. The roof's going to come over. And then the front is actually set back because we're going to have wire screen on here. And I want to keep the weather out, south facing. It's going to be really cool. We're gonna paint before putting up the rest of the siding because the rest of the siding and the roof is metal. We don't want to get paint on the metal. So it'd be easier to paint while it's exposed. Oh. I'm like my mom over here. I just think I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't tip the paint over.
What about me? I was more worried about falling.
Yeah, I guess that matters too.
What would be worse, if I fell or the paint fell?
The paint.
Wrong threading. Check it out. It's looking good. We're done painting.
Yeah.
The paint is drying. We used I always show you, but the can is covered in paint. It's a barn and fence paint, and it's livestock safe. So it's supposed to be better. You know, it's just a cheap paint for farms. We're gonna start with the roof, I think. So we're gonna go cut the roof metal. The way I designed this, I'm just gonna cut a straight 10-foot metal roofing straight in half. So it's gonna be 2 5-foot halves. I tried to build this coop with like easy, efficient use of materials.
No waste.
Little waste, and just using the dimensions of the materials the best that I could. I have 3 sheets of roofing upside down, marked out. I'm going to cut them all at once with my metal cutting blade. It should go through it okay. I figured this is easier than cutting each piece individually. So we just have them clamped together so they don't move. Can't cut metal without safety glasses. We're back at it again on the chicken coop. We got the roof on. It looks really good. Slightly imperfect, but I won't even show you. Now, I got these vinyl J molds, and they're basically like a J channel. That's what I wanted to say. A vinyl J channel. And I'm going to be putting them on the ends, both ends, of the coop. Just going to be nailing them right on. And then I'm going to be putting my metal siding right between it. We're doing our siding horizontally. Again, a little bit different. We're breaking boundaries. We're going outside the box with this chicken coop. Normally you'd see the metal siding going up and down. We're going side to side. My framing is that way. It's going to work. So these are going to protect the ends of the metal, protect us from the ends of the metal, and make it look a little more finished. I picked vinyl because it's cheaper. It was longer, so I need to buy less pieces. And it's flexible, so it'll be easier to get the metal in there. Alright, J channel is installed, and this is just, again, to hide the ends of my metal and protect everybody. Metal's going up right now.
Cool.
Got it?
Yeah.
We're just lining it up to the top of the...
In.
Get yours in.
I got my one.
There it is. We're in the coop and it's looking awesome. The siding is done. So now I'm going to start sealing in the inside. I have to seal up this front and along the metal. So I'm going to be using some scrap pieces. Just like this to fill in the gaps. I'm going to frame this out and put some wood along the sides too. Basically, I just want to box it in so that the bedding stays in the coop and off the metal. That's my main concern. So just a little rim around the edge to hold everything in. Well, here it is. Walls are complete. All boxed in. This will keep the chickens off the walls and the bedding in place. Man. Alright, coop build day 464. We are about to finish, well, build the doors. Hopefully finish the doors. We have the opening. I'm in the coop. It's really nice in here. I can just hang out here all day. This is the wood that the doors are going to be made out of. We're using a lot of scrap lumber at this point to try to save money and just use what we have laying around. I happen to have some different size leftovers from cut-offs that I'm hopefully going to build some really cool doors with. Now I say doors because it's actually going to be 2 doors. We're putting in a sliding door system. And I already have the track installed, and I did that just to make sure my measurements were right. I have them cut to the height. This is going to be the basic door shape. I know it doesn't look big, but it will be big enough to get in and out and do what we need to do. How's that?
Good.
It's okay if glue squishes out. This isn't...
Yeah. It's just a coop.
Yeah. Just a coop. So here's one door frame done. There's going to be 2 of the same. So I'm going to get working on the second one, but that's basically what they're going to look like. Alright, 2 doors are complete. They'll need to be painted. I think I should work on the nesting box. Alright, I'm just test fitting my pieces. I notched this to fit in here. I'm going to be building a nesting box that comes out. It has walls on it. So I have my pieces cut right here for the sides, the bottom, and the back. Doesn't really matter which way these go.
Where do you want this one?
It's gonna be back about 1/8. Just flush with this. Push it forward. So I'm gonna take that out there and put it right on top. Baby this. Starting to come together.
Yeah. Now it's starting to look like a nesting box.
Looks like something. The nesting box is basically done. It looks really cool. Came out good. We designed this with milk crates in mind. We're going to be making milk crate nesting boxes by cutting open the front. You'll see that soon. So basically this is big enough to fit 3 of these milk crates right in here side by side with a little room to spare. Because we don't want them being loose, I'm going to be making a board across the front to secure them, and this board will be removable, so that's my next step. So here it is. This is my idea of keeping these boxes in place. So you'll have your 3 nesting boxes and they won't be able to fall out. But if you need to take them out, we'll just lift this up and they'll slide right out. And it's just swiveling on 1 screw, rounded the edge so the corners wouldn't hit. And this locks in. It doesn't need anything on the back because when these are in here, they can't go anywhere. We just don't want them coming out. It's kind of fun to be working on the finishing touches of the coop. It still feels like there's so much to do, but there's really not. This is the wrap up. It's really cool. I like this. We're just working with the materials we have, so it's coming out pretty good with that.
So to get on top of the coop, we're going to be using the element.
Oh, we'll need the bit. We need the 1/4-inch bit. The ridge cap is done. Unfortunately, you didn't see me drop all the screws off the roof and everybody had to clean them up. It looks pretty good. Since we had an extra long ridge cap, they come longer than the metal. I went ahead and just cut some little angles at the front, little points to go with our pointy theme. Just trying to be fancy. I don't know if it works. Where can we see the roof? Look at that skill.
Oh yeah. This brush is like blown out. The skill. Look at this thing, it's like demolished.
Guys, these brushes are from the dollar store. $1 for a paintbrush. You can't beat it.
If you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, they want like $6 for this. Or more.
And for a chicken coop, this is perfect. Look how good the coop is looking. This looks awesome. Ashley painted up the chicken nesting box. Looks crisp. This whole board in the bottom. I worked on these door frames mostly. Time to get the wire on them. What I like to do is screw down my wire with these little latch screws. I don't know. They got a nice wide but flat head. They're not rust proof, but I'm not too worried about that. Alright, I got this on, I got it cut, but I didn't leave myself much room on the edges. So I don't think I'm going to screw this. I think I'm going to go ahead and staple it. Now I'm excited to get these doors hung and see how they do. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hardware on. I think these were supposed to be 2.5 inches over. Let's see where those... This is the moment we've all been waiting for. There it is. Okay. We don't have the guides on the bottom yet. I didn't want to screw those in until I could see where the doors were going to hang proper. But this looks like it's going to work. Let's adjust these to their level.
So here's the doors on the track. They slide. We can't finish it though because we bought these extra door things down here, but the door is too wide to fit in the gap here. For some reason, these don't work as well as that one does. They're different than this one.
And this is perfect. But we just want another one on the ends. Can you show them why? So it's not loose.
Yeah.
It has to be solid.
So we're going to try to get ones that are like this.
Yeah. We'll go back to the store. Maybe even tonight. So this is where we're at on the coop. We went to the store and picked up these new door guides. These are 100% nylon, so they're not going to rust or have any problems, and they worked awesome. So now we can actually close the door, and it fits, and it locks. The door doesn't go all over the place. We also added the sliding door locks. There it is, locked up tight. This thing can't go anywhere, can't be pushed. Open it up, slide it open. We also added the guide at this end. See that? For some reason, the other guides were too narrow, but these work really good. We also added a lock on the inside for this back door. We didn't want the locks hitting each other. So this is the main door, but we could also slide this one open if we want to, just by unlocking the inside. Now that that is done, I'm working on the nesting box. We made a lid, and now I'm hooking the hinges on. Alright, the hinges are on, and this is just a 1x12 board that we cut to length. Ashley painted it up last night. Ooh, that is cool. This part is a bit of an experiment, but I'm going to be trying one of these little snap latches, and I'll show you how this works, but to hold it closed so that it's easy to open and close for us, but difficult for an animal. Guys, we are at the finishing touches. I did put the latch on. It's very weak. It doesn't work that good, but I'm thinking if we had a couple more, it'll give the resistance I'm looking for. This is just an experiment, because we want something that's really easy to use even during the winter, and we find that using like clips and latches can be really hard to deal with when you got gloves on. So we'll keep experimenting with that. But now, I think all we have left to do is make our nesting boxes, which is going to be these black milk crates. All I'm going to do is follow this line, cut out this opening, and it's basically done. Man, that cuts like butter. It's beautiful. There it is. Actually, it's got a lot of rigidity left in it because of these sides.
Good. Perfect.
Let's do the other ones. I'm excited because this means the coop is done when we put these in here. I don't think there's anything else to do, do you?
Just screwing the perch up.
Yeah. I'm going to be putting a spacer in here because I left a little extra wiggle room in my nesting box just in case the milk crates weren't the perfect size that I thought they would be. There it is. Locked in place.
Cool.
Really cool, that looks good. In the past, we've always done communal boxes, which are just open boxes that the flock uses. But in this time, we actually plan on keeping a rooster. So we actually hope we get chicks. So that's why I decided to do individual removable boxes. Just in case we do get a broody hen, we can easily pull out the whole nesting box with her in it and put her in another place, maybe another coop that we'll have to build. I don't know. So this system is really awesome. Nesting box looks good. And I think we're done.
Yeah.
This is going to be the perch, and it's not going to be there. We're going to probably, you know, screw it up here somewhere. The reason it's not screwed in yet is because we're going to be getting chicks, and the chicks can't get up that high, so we're going to keep the floor, the whole space open, and we're just going to put the chicks straight in the coop until they're old enough to perch up there, and then we'll hook that in place. Now, the reason, you might be wondering, why did you use OSB, the smart side on the end and the metal on the sides? It's all because of sizing and efficient use of materials. The metal was 8 feet long, and I wanted an 8-foot wide coop. But 2 pieces of metal is 6 feet tall when stacked sideways like this, and that's exactly the size of my wall, 6 feet. So it just worked. I didn't have to cut anything. But on the back, I knew I wanted to cut this peak, so I used wood because it's easier to cut than metal. Can you imagine cutting metal at an angle? Oh man, that stuff's terrible to cut.
Yeah.
So this was easy to cut, and again, 8 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and I couldn't do that easily with the metal. So we just mixed materials, and then I took those cutoffs and brought them over here on the front, so it was perfect.
No waste.
Well, there it is, guys. Our open air coop is complete. It looks so awesome, and I'm so happy that it's finally done.
I know.
To answer some questions about the open air system, this is our first time really using it, but it's something that we've read a lot about, and we know that some of you have read about it because you've given us resources and references and mentioned it in our comments before.
And that's how we learned about it.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the open air coop system, you're going to become concerned because we live in Michigan, for example, and you're thinking it gets cold here and your chickens are going to freeze and they're going to die. We get this all the time. Comments, your animals are going to freeze and die.
Which doesn't happen in real life.
That's not real life. Animals are very hardy, very strong, made to handle the weather. That's why there's all kinds of wild animals, deer, turkey, everything going out all winter. And they're not dying and freezing because their bodies are designed to handle the cold. They have fat, they have fur, they have winter coats.
They grow a winter coat or whatever.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to chickens, we're going to be buying, first of all, a cold hardy breed.
That's important.
There's cold hardy, there's hot hardy, you know, there's birds that can handle a little bit of both. You got to find the right bird for your climate. So a cold hardy chicken, first of all, is already going to be adapted to the cold weather. It's not going to bother them. The second thing is that a coop isn't meant to keep your chicken warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to keep your chicken dry and out of the wind. An open air coop is actually healthier than a sealed coop because the most dangerous thing for livestock during the winter is stale, damp air.
Condensation.
You want to keep the air moving and you want to keep it dry, and you just want to keep them with fresh, healthy air. These kind of coops have been used in the north, all around New England, everywhere for 100 years. And they've really proven themselves that the chickens are healthier, they're better producers, and they just overall are happier chickens when they have access to the fresh air, the sun, the just that kind of freedom even when they're locked in. That, you know, not in a dark enclosed box with the dead air.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try it. Our first time using this type of coop, but from what I've researched, it's really the way to go.
And it's better for their combs. If moisture gets on like a chicken's comb, it can lead to frostbite.
Frostbite, yep. Not from being out in the cold, but from being in an enclosed, damp, cold location.
Yeah.
Yep. So chickens will be totally fine all winter, all year in this coop, as long as the weather isn't blowing in, and that's why it's important to face it away from the weather.
Yeah, ours is facing south.
So I think we're going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We tried explaining this the best we can, but if you have any questions, I mean, research open air coops, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of good information out there. We're excited to try it. We're excited to have chickens.
Which should hopefully be soon.
Yeah, well, all we know is spring, summer. So we'll see. We'll reveal the chicks that we're getting when they come. We don't want to give that away just yet. Nothing too crazy, but we just like having surprises. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.